It's Friday, November the 17th, which means you know it. Next week is
Thanksgiving. And we will go on and let you know now. We're going to be taking some time off Thanksgiving Day, Thursday, and Friday next week. So we'll have just a message of happiness and Thanksgiving for you, but we'll be back with you as usual the first week in December, getting ready for finishing out the year.
Well, a couple of weeks ago, we were in correction territory
Yes.
on the S&P 500. We're not anymore. We've seen a big jump.
Jump up.
What's going on?
Well, the camp that has influenced the market this year, and it really literally is two camps. There's the camp that looked through the Federal Reserve, that didn't believe that the market would slow down, that recognized that consumers had a lot of money given to them by the government and that unemployment was not going to go up, drove the market. And this week there was indication of slowing down of inflation. Still inflation, but not as great, and the pace was slowing. So that camp, it got happy about that, threw a party. Stock market jumped up, and they're looking through it with the thought process truly that the Federal Reserve is paused now, that pause is not going to be any more increases, and then beginning in next year. And you've seen early as the first quarter, second quarter, first half of the year, the Federal Reserve is going to reduce rates.
We're not in that camp.
No, but that's the camp that drove the market up this week. That's what happened.
I had a statistic that we used on a couple of the shows this week, and it was the savings rate going back to quarter two of 2020, which was about $2,000 a person. That's the savings that was just on average. It jumped up to almost $4,500 when COVID came along and the stimulus was added into most everybody's bank accounts, and has now dropped precipitously to a point where it is now at $892. So quarter two of 2020, it was at $2,000, jumped to 45 plus, and now is down below $1,000. That is an unhealthy type of savings rate.
There are several things still coming up before the end of the year and into the first year that we have to watch that could swing the thought to the other camp. And the other camp is really a negative camp. The Fed has to increase. The war in Israel it expands, and the Treasury auctions don't go well. And so we have a harder landing in the other camp. And those two things to watch between the end of this year and January would be, one, what the Feds do in their December meeting, what their position is, what are they saying? Are they indicating a pause, or are they indicating there's still potential increases? And two opportunities for the Treasury to sell at auction treasuries. And they're going to have to do that to help fund the national debt, pay for the national debt. Now, Moody's, just this last week.
Yeah, they downgraded our debt. Fitch downgraded our debt in August. So all of these things are important. And when you attach that we're having this record auction that's coming up in January, and who's going to be buying our bonds? I mean, we're not going to be buying them, and we were the largest purchaser of those bonds. The Fed was, and so they've unloaded $2 trillion of Treasury, so they're not going to be purchasing it. The Chinese are not going to be purchasing it. The Japanese are not going to be purchasing it, and the Europeans are not going to be purchasing it. So who's going to be buying our bonds?
It's going to be left to primarily at what level those countries, if they do, will be buying. But then does institutions come in and buy, and do individuals buy? Now, if they don't, the remedy is, because they got to be sold to fund the debt, is to raise the interest rate to attract the buyers.
Which then lowers the price on the bond itself. So you're already buying these at a discount.
Which then changes the interest rate consideration of inflation and its effect that the Federal Reserve has to do, which then puts more pressure on home mortgages and other things. So it could have a spiraling effect. And so those are such big, important factors that in the remaining part of this year in January, we think we should just wait and see. Now, we have talked about extending the duration, and we've done it subtly. So we're doing that very subtly. So we do have the list of stocks to buy, and this week some technology stocks earnings came in, and the value is down, and it has created what we think is opportunity, but it could even be better opportunity. So we're waiting and seeing with that information, and then collectively we're going to make a decision to begin to make move, because we do believe by the end of 2024, it certainly will look different than we are right now. So we're doing that. But let us wish you, first of all, let us thank you. Thank you for being great friends and clients of HMC. You make our lives wonderful just to have the relationship, and we certainly appreciate it, and we wish you and your family a happy Thanksgiving.
Absolutely. And be very safe, and we will be back because it is your money.
And your money matters.
We'll see you in 2 weeks.